shot. Suddenly now that I'm seeing it, it looks good to me. Dad is putting up a swing in the background, and we're here to appreciate our silent moments. Thank you for joining me. I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again. Hey, Kira Burb, sunshine, sister. It is so nice to have you here with us. First, how did you sleep? Huh. Interesting you asked that question. I've not been sleeping well, Kira Burp. Not that I've been sleeping poorly when I'm actually sleeping. I've just not been sleeping enough. I'm doing keto right now, and I'm abstaining from marijuanas, and I'm abstaining from caffeine, and I'm abstaining from some other things. And I feel all of these energies is like pushing with a lot of momentum my consciousness forward. So I sleep like 4 hours and then I'm awake. That kind of awake where you're like laying there and you want to sleep, but your brain is like, nah, actually, we're done doing that. So I've been trying to like sneak in little afternoon naps. And the afternoon nap was nice. It was. So I did technically sleep only an hour ago. Sunshine. 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 It's nice having you. Oh dear. I feel that. No sleep here yet. So much abstaining for you. Proud of you always. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to almost like sharpen the blade that is my consciousness. So that when I can cut into the cake of my experience, it slides smoothly. Yeah, yeah. Exactly like that. Exactly what I meant to say. Oops. Mm. I'm very sensitive with this stuff. Intentional? No. I think Kira Burb just got kept up by the little one. Was that Melt Prime in the background? Yeah. Melt Prime is putting up a swing. Ah, I don't like that. No, no, I don't. Uh, I put some ice in my water today because it's hot again. How about that? It's like 30 degrees Celsius. It's like summer temperatures. Once more, and then I put some ice in my water butter, and then the ice was clearly close to like a package of meat or something. Right? I like meat as much as the next person, but not as a flavor of water, you know? Like that's not exactly my idea of a good time. That tap is not working. Where am I gonna fill up? Am I taking you with me? Yes, the small human enjoys the nocturnal life and believes she is a skunk. Yeah, the nocturnal life has less other consciousnesses to contend with. I find myself also thriving in that space, but the sun still brings me up. That's one square closer to bingo. That's true. That's true, actually. That is a bingo moment. A rare melt prime goes up in stream. I freaking love your words. I love you, Kira Burp. Makes me happy to share mine with people that appreciate me. I sort of burst into happy tears when I saw the necklace you showed yesterday. The the other the other half. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you does Kira Burp know? Have we told Kira Burp? Kira Burp, if I say, do you know what I want to tell you? Are you gonna be like, yeah, I know this thing you want to tell me, this thing that's important? I don't know if Kira Burp knows. We did tell her that I'm coming to America. All right. I think we told her. I think we told her. I think so. If in the future this happens to me, Kira, what do you do in the middle of the night with your gremlin when it won't sleep? You fight them. Oh my goodness. Are you guys? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I should make like so. Should- Ah, yeah, Kira Burp. Uh, I wanna put water in my bottle. Wait one moment, Sam. I'm losing my. Yeah, yeah. Like we were kind of talking about like Joe is gonna come over again, and Joe has been here last year this time, and then this year around February, we basically committed to taking it all the way. What? Oh my gosh! But wait, I was gonna ask if that ring meant it. Yeah. Joe, she might be sleeping right now. She also had a nocturnal night. You know. Yes. Ye, the kids will not get picked first for sport teams, but they'll have winning personality. I'm one of those kids. I was not picked for sports team, even though I have sportsman body. You know, I do have sportsman body. I just don't have sportsman drive. Right. Like I did play a little bit of rugby for some time of my life, but the idea of like throwing my flesh, into other people's flesh in order to get ball just never really resonated with me, I never quite got there. I'll drink some lukewarm water. She'll be fine. Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't taste like uncooked uncooked beef anymore. Oh, alas, back again. But burp. Now I'm being bashful too. My sleep still wants me, so I'm definitely gonna fall back asleep. I knew this was going to happen like day 10. Okay, burp. Now I'm being bashful too. Bawling like a happy dumb baby here. Sam, she always wants stories all night long about when she was a baby. How interesting. It's interesting how kids differ, right? I can't say that I ever asked about stories of myself as a baby when my dad would tell me stories. How curious. Saman X Alafan. That's a good place for tourists in your city to visit. One, I do not live in a city. So that's like a big hard stop, Saman. However, if you had to go to a city, there's a bunch of them here. And I'm not really that well versed. I have a bunch of different points on my Google Maps that's like attraction points. Maybe there's beautiful things to see. But I kind of thrive just going and visiting friends. I find myself in a place and I just have conversations with people. That's the best place for me to be. How about you, Saman? Where are you from? Do you live in a city? And if you do, what's the best place for you in your city? Let me know. Yeah, they're kids. I sleep still. Aw, ballin'. Aw, love you, super mega extra ultra. Yeah, Joe, oh my gosh. I literally knew this was going to happen at the very beginning. You saw it coming? Yeah. Yeah, look at us. You were manifesting here with us. Kirberb. Manifest. Making a manifest. Things happen the way they're supposed to. I was thinking about this today. I'll share it. I don't know if you friends ever pay attention to that kind of stuff, but the geolocation that I set for my YouTube channel is the United States of America. And when I was 14, 13 going on to 14, started watching PewDiePie, right? And PewDiePie was one of those everyday, consistent creators. So I was not very happy during that time of my life. And I found some sort of joy and camaraderie in tuning into his streams or his videos. And then, of course, I tried to learn as much from him as I could. I still do actually. Watch all of his videos. I don't miss one. I love him so much. And he, in a video then, like literally 6, 7 years ago now, said that there was some sort of internal thing with YouTube where if you had your geolocation set as YouTube, as United States, you get more reach because it then almost like bundles you in the United States category, right? And there's a lot more eyes and a lot more money in that area. So your channel ends up doing better. And then when I started my channel, I did the same, right? But I, in doing that, did not think that I would actually be telling the truth one day. And here we are, one step closer. What's a good place? Let's again. Oh yeah, I shouldn't tell those. When you were a baby, your nickname was Baby Caligula because you were unreasonable. Yeah, when you were a baby, I WWE'd you to sleep because you could. She likes to ask if her mommy did X, Y, or Z with her before I became her mom. So it's a lot of sucking it up and not crying over my sister. It's like living almost that life of your sister, with her. It's a good way to remember in a way, Kira Burb, I feel, right? It's like one of those things where people remind you of things or ask you questions, you might end up remembering things that you thought you had forgotten. I saw it so hard, and I have goosebumps. Okay, Burb, funny how I feel. Like the last one to find out. Oh yeah? Totally. The last one, yeah. Not like you were here up close to me. Kira, the last time I talked to Shelly. Oh, jeez. Dear Shelly, we miss her. Last time I talked to Shelly, she asked about you. If you were doing human things and if you still have her number, drop her a line. Remind her that we still exist too while you're at it, why don't you? Good morning, Mel. Hey, Hoopty Hoops. Welcome. Hoopty asked me a question yesterday on my Patreon. He asked me, what does it cost me to make my flowers? You know. And now that you're here, Hoopty Hoops, I can tell you, technically, on a technical level, technical increase, it costs me nothing. I generate with my time and my consciousness all of that stuff only at the cost of technically electricity, right? You could technically factor in the technological acquisition cost as well. But then I kind of like indulged, dear Hoopty Hoops. I'm like, well, let's say you think I am worth bare minimum wage, American bare minimum wage, right? Like the $7.25 an hour. Even then, I should still be earning at least like $500 with the Patreon, all right? If I was being paid minimum wage. But alas, it doesn't work that way, does it, Hoopies? How's Shelly? I miss her too. So much love. I don't know. Last deck I sent her, I didn't hear anything back. I'm sending another one now. Sometimes she gets busy. That's true. One step closer to what? One step closer to self, always. But specifically, one step closer to America. I've already gotten my chest x-rays and technically my lower back x-rays as well. I've gotten my police clearance from China. My police clearance from South Africa is finished, but I do still think it's going to take some time before it arrives here where I am. But that's done, technically. It's just being sent now. I have already finished my letter of intent. Giovanna's finished her letter of intent. I have with Giovan's help, gathered all of our financial kind of like documents. The only thing I have left, and that's the plan for next week, is to have myself injected with a bunch of vaccines, like 13 of them. Surely not, Melt. Surely. Okay, not exactly. Let me see. Let me make sure exactly. I am gonna apply for a K1 visa real soon, and I'm curious as to which vaccinations I need to get before I can go to the embassy appointed doctor to be approved. hmm I missed that prompted the told the truth comment. I missed what prompted the told the truth comment. Me too. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I wasn't even wrong. Yeah, I have to get 13 vaccinations. I need to get a tetanus and a diphtheria, also pertussis, including pertussis. I think they come like together. Then I need to get the polio vaccine. I need to get measles vaccine. I need to get mumps vaccine. I need to get rubella vaccine. I need to get a rotavirus vaccine. I need to get Haemophilus influenza type B vaccine. I need to get a hepatitis A vaccine. I need to get a hepatitis B vaccine. I need to get a meningococcal Monomuscatamine disease vaccine. Need to get a varicella chickenpox vaccine. Need to get a pneumococcal disease vaccine, and I need to get an influenza vaccine. So minis. Have the vaccinations at the medical, get them from your own doctor and update my record, or get them after arrival. No, I'll get them at your medical exam. The panel physician, the civil surgeon, will review your vaccination records and assess age-appropriate needs, administer missing doses, or check for immunity if needed, provide you with a form documenting your vaccination status. If you're missing vaccines, you can complete them afterwards, either before adjustment of status in the US. Ah, okay. Didn't know that. But yeah, I need to get 13 vaccinations. And I'm not like anti-vax or anything. Just like the idea of having 13 different things injected into me, like does things to my brain. My brain is like, oh yeah, that sounds like I don't want that. There is so much to do. But then it's done. Then I'm basically completely done. Literally. Then there's nothing more for me to do. Of course, I have to go for the interview. Uh, but then it's donezo, right? Then we already got our preliminary approval. In other words, Jovan had to like type out this literal stack of documents, right? Intent and like affidavits and like where we've been together and like anonymous letters and then that is basically the first thing that needs to be approved. If that's not approved, then you need to reapply, which is like I think $600 per pop. So we're basically through the door. My foot's already in the door. I just need to shimmy it open now. I get to relive my childhood with my sisters, Minnie, exactly. Fell out with some peeps. Life is complex. It does work that way, bro. Tuners is here too. Sup, crew. Hope you're well. It's nice having you here, friend. Joe, I desperately need good tea and FaceTime with you. Sounds awesome. Missed your friends. Hope you're doing good. We're here with you, Connor. It's nice having you here too. How are you doing, friend? All the details. I mean, not all. Speaking of Joe, Sangha tomorrow? Maybe. Enzo is here too. I do remember you, Enzo. Yeah, I do. Like your name, the sing of an H is the thing that like hooked it for me. It's nice having you here again. Okay, is this legally binding contract thing? Lol, Joe. I'm absolutely so awkward right now, but too excited. Legally binding contract thing? I don't know about legally binding contracts. I think marriage is technically a legally binding contract. Maybe that's what you're asking. Yeah. Let me just say it straight, Kira Verb. We are, in fact, getting married. Me and Joe are gonna go kiss. I think I should be able to same time, but I might have to be there shorter than usual. Bro is gonna be our little patriot. Yeah. Gonna become American. Be the best America. America hard. Buy myself big truck that's lifted with like 25-inch wheels. Buy myself gun. Buy myself fireworks. Buy myself a fishing rod and go fish. Buy myself. I'm trying to stereotype. Bud Light, of course, while I'm fishing. Must have. What's more? What's more? Uh, mm, mm, mm. I think those are like the key ones, right? If I get those, I should be good. You haven't been vaccinated against polio. I think I have been before, in the before 4 times, but I don't know if I have to re-get vaccinated. They don't have vaccines in South Africa. No, no, no. I think we do. Like I have like a few of them. I think I have like 4 of them. But I got those when I was like an infant, right? I don't know if they count, but I am going to take them to my doctor that's going to be administering all of my vaccines. So maybe I'll only get like 9, if I'm lucky. I can't even right now. I had an order spinning. So much love. She's worth the 13, absolutely. This is true. Where are you going to be posted up at? Might have to have a mini melt fest. That does sound nice. We're gonna be in Indiana, Connor. We're gonna be in Indiana. So not exactly in the middle of the state, but not in the middle of the state, all right? Close enough or far away enough from everyone. Sam is going to be pitching, move to Kansas City, Cantuns, keep you posted on how that goes. It's just the financials, right, Sam? It's like that's going to be the big limiting factor. The way that me and Joe are planning is that with with the progressive saving up of capital, I still do want to build myself the solar V, right? And then we can go and live anywhere. We can come and park in your driveway, Sam, for 2 weeks or whatever, right? Live in Kansas City, go and see stuff. I don't know, hit a Dynavap together, go for walks, and then we can go to other places too. That's what I mean, lol. Holy moly, I'm shaking. So much love. And so chill, bro. No, not. I'm moving to Indiana. It's settled. Indiana's a cool place. It's a little bit of an island. Hey, if you know, you know, right? It's a little bit of an island. But everything remains available at the end of the day. Bro, I'm in Michigan. We can definitely have to plan something. Northern Indiana, a little bit more south of Indiana, right? Not completely south, but like this far away from being completely south. Hey, Melt, I don't know. All right. Okay, Upi, we can park in your driveway for 2 weeks. If I wouldn't let my dad do that, I'm not gonna let you two drive your tent stakes into my driveway either. They're not tent stakes. It's it's a solar V, right? Solar RV, solar V. So it has wheels. It can park, and that's fine, Sam. We'll go somewhere else. Like there's a lot of places in America to go. That's the thing as well. It's like America is massive. Even South Africa is massive, and I haven't seen a fraction. I haven't seen a fraction of this place, and it kills my soul that I can't. All right, I understand that it's very expensive to travel, so I'm not that peeved with myself. Like if I had seen more of this country, uh, if I wanted to see more of this country, I would have need to have a lot more capital to actually expend, right? Literally just going to freaking Cape Town or going to Pretoria. Going to Pretoria and coming back here is $50. All right. I make like, if I'm lucky, $200 a month right now with the Patreon being a little bit more slow, right? So I'm making like $200. That means it will I can go to Pretoria and back 4 times and then I have no money left. All right. So it's not exactly the easiest thing to kind of like apply. Is Gary here? I saw someone say Gary. Let me see if I go all messages. No, I'm not seeing Gary. Bless him anyway. He's moving to beautiful Gary, Indiana. Please freaking visit me. We'd love to cure a burb. Me and Jovan have even talked about the fact that it is on our bucket list to go and see all of the friends that we met in this space. Many of them we might not be able to because they've kind of like gotten into their own, experiences too. We don't have access to them in the same way anymore. It's like many people that used to be in the space don't even know that I'll be in America, right? Maybe by the time they think about the space again, they'll tune in and be like, "Oh, where are you now?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the States. This is America behind me now." I'm looking forward to that conversation. I'm in the habit of saying, I don't know, when I have to ask myself what I'm afraid of, not as words or those exact thoughts. I just use my sensorium. It's good to admit that we don't know, a hoopty hoops. But you said, hey, melt, and then I don't know. Maybe you were saying, I don't know, to the whole minimum wage thing. I don't know. I don't know either, bro. Burp. I so want to bring Melt on a road trip and see you. It would be so fun too. It would be the highlight of all time. It's subtle Melt and say, and so I'll say, goobers goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Hoopty hoops. It was nice having you. I'll go wherever you guys are. Love is true. We'll be present sooner rather than later. I look forward to it. There's changes coming to our lives. So much change. Change beyond imagining. All right, literally. I have found myself going through changes over and over again. And every single time I do, it's like a new canvas, a new opportunity for me to iterate and build upon. Me and Joe had like the conversation about how America is going to change me, right? Because I will become a whole new person. Every environment, the whole nurture versus nature thing, right? I do nurture myself. I have like the inner dialogue, kind of like being a parent to my body, if you will. But where we find ourselves and the environment we're in do shape the things we think and the way we apply ourselves. And it's going to be fun to see our continued growth in that space as well. Sam, want to go on a road trip to Indiana. Hope to see ya. Bless. I'm always here, hoopty hoops. I sort of feel like my heart isn't so dead now. Huge. Love is true. Is that putting up a swing? He is. The swing used to be there, but the branch that used to carry it got chopoed. So that's putting up a swing. I did say that when you asked if that is in the background, that is putting up a swing. Swing has been put the foppeth. Sister is using it. Reality. This is real. Totally not green screened. Whatever. Hold that on a ladder. Yeah. Things have happened. A swing. It is fun to go on a swing. I'm thinking about my childhood self. I was one of those kids that would push the swings as hard as they could. I don't know if you friends were one of those as well, where you would just like really push that swing up until the point where you were going like full vertical. Go full vertical. I would have the teachers come outside and tell me to stop. They would be like, "Stop! Please stop doing that. You're gonna get hurt." I never got hurt, not one time. Not even one time. I didn't get hurt from a swing. I got hurt many other ways, but not with a swing. Uh, but I did push it. It was fun. Mm, I'm someone who values honesty. I think all of us are. I don't think anybody values dishonesty, hoopty hoops. All right. What prompts you to say that? That's the real question. Right? Be honest. Be honest, hoopy. I would value that. You don't want to be in a car with me for that long, Kira. I really don't see the point of hiding. Yeah. I think the point of hiding is usually to stay safe, generally, right? That's, I think, the point of it. It's like you're trying to protect yourself, you know? I actually listened to a podcast just yesterday with CEO of a diary and Dr. K. And one thing that he did talk about is the fact that children that were in abusive households, either physically or emotionally, taught themselves how to be invisible, right? Taught themselves how to hide their presence from the environment because if they were noticed, they could be harmed, either physically or emotionally. So hiding does have a point, but I don't know if it's healthy. You know, that's the other part of it, like contracting away from reality like that, putting yourself under the metaphorical bucket, right? Isn't what you're here for. Oh yes, I do, Sam. Honesty is key. That it is. Hmm. My back is feeling a little bit sensitive again. I'm noticing. There we go. My comments weren't loading properly. Back again. You mind if we pull over so I can roast a little bit? Hey, you see that shit about Trump proceeds to political dumps for 20 minutes. You hear about the car that runs on water. Yeah, cars can't run on water, Sam. Did you know that? Did you know the biggest limitation with cars running on water is actually that the fuel is too rich? That our materials, our conventional engine blocks, will literally start melting if we try to run water as a fuel through them. I had to tell that to my engineering uncle. My engineering uncles also do believe there's some sort of conspiracy with the whole water water engines, right? Where I'm like, no, batteries, electric vehicles are going to be the thing that ends up succeeding, right? Because again, they work right now. There, you can go out and you can buy an electric vehicle today. You can't go out and buy a water vehicle today, and you won't be able to, ever. And it's always going to be inefficient to do so. A tank full of water probably will get you pretty far, you know, full disclosure. I don't think it will not be a good mode of transportation, but we'll have to literally invent completely new combustion technology and potentially use very high temperature alloys in order to make it work. That's what the trip would be like. That sounds like fun to me. I like trips like that. That sounds perfect. Yeah, exactly, right, Sunshine Sister? That does sound fun. We might not actually get anywhere, all the roasting and political dumping and random stops for cool roadside attractions. You do have stuff like that in America. We have stuff like that too here, but just significantly less. Roadside attractions. I want to live a life where I can take my time, you know? Go where it is I want to go, when it is I want to go there. Maybe I'll have to be in certain places at certain times, right? If I get hired to do something, I guess. But unless I'm not, unless I'm not hired specifically to do something, I just want to roam. I want to have two EUCs kind of like tucked away inside my electric van that has a bunch of solar on top of it. And then those EUCs are always plugged in, getting solar charged, and of course the vehicle is getting solar charged. And then I'll drive places, and then I'll see, oh, it seems like my van's battery is dying. And then I'll Google Maps, is there like a lake here somewhere that I can park my RV or whatever? And then it's like, ah, and then I hit that pin location, and then I drive there, stretch myself up, ooh, and I proceed to unfold my solar panels, right? So I have 3 times the amount of surface area that's charging my vehicle. And then I'll unplug my EUC, Jovan unplugs hers, and then we can get on our EUCs and we can go and drive around the lake or drive into the forest together. Go and explore the little town that we're in, go and see all of the roadside attractions. And before we realize, our EV van is fully charged again, all right? And then we park our little EUCs inside the van, and then we drive our van back into the world, going to see some more things. I get no appreciation. Is that so? I think you're a rad dream. So sad. Melt, take your time. It's great advice. Trust me. Which part? I don't really see the point of hiding. I'm someone who values honesty. Is that the advice you gave? Take your time. It's great advice. Oh, maybe there's a take your time. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe we were like saying the same thing at the same time, even Hoopy. I really do believe that. I see it almost like a means of like keeping myself. I want to use the word young, right? It's like I don't want to do stuff that ages me prematurely. I want to reduce the amount of cortisol my body is releasing. Hoops, you grumping? I wonder what's going on with Hoops. Let us know, bro. What does that mean, Sam? I'm trying to bring my friend Melt more into some awareness of his nervous system. I want them to have momentum on the things he wants to do in life. I appreciate that, Hoops. I do think I have a good amount of momentum. I would like more, right? But again, if you have to think about what I'm doing, right? I think 1,703 days is a fair bit of momentum. Like 3,000 plus individual works of art is a fair bit of momentum. 1,000 plus yoga classes, fair bit of momentum. Having done literal visual mapping for festivals that had attendance of totals of thousands of people, all right? Literally thousands of human beings were, I want to use the word forced, they were allowed to witness my art, right, for a whole weekend. That's some momentum, bro. That is some momentum. And I do want to continue with that momentum forward, right? My want to take it easy eventually isn't me not wanting to maintain momentum. It's me wanting to sustain momentum, right? Where I'll still do my streams, of course. And again, in this idyllic worldview that I'm trying to create for ourselves, when I go and travel, I take you friends with me, right? Ideally, I would even want my Solar V to have like cameras mounted all around it, and then hit a button, and then my van is live, right? There's a live feed pointing at me, and then there's buttons that I can point at everything else. And ideally, I can make those buttons available to you on an interface level where you can push the button on your screen and see what it is you want to see, right? Maybe you want to listen to me, but you don't really want to look at my face, which I get. You want to look at the road that I'm driving on, for example. Then you can click that button. You can have the road view, right? Maybe you are the kind of person that likes staring out the window on the side, right? Then you can check the side view. Maybe you like sitting on the left side of the road. You can check the left side. Maybe you're that kid that likes staring out the back window at other people and their cars. You can do that too. You can stare out the back if you want to, right? So I have a lot of momentum, bro. I'm gonna make it happen, even if it takes me a long time. My dream is simple. I don't want supercars or yachts or 15-bedroom mansions or Gucci bags or Rolexes. I don't want any of that stuff. None of that stuff has any value to me, right? I can imagine it being fun, drive supercar, fun, be on yacht, fun, have Rolex, fun, have house, 15 rooms, right? But I don't think that fun remains, right? Especially if I have to think about the fact that I have to spend an absurd amount of money. That part doesn't sound very fun to me, right? And especially if I have to think about the fact that I could have done something else with that capital, right? I could have started a business. I could have bought myself an asset that actually appreciates in value. I could have supported a friend who has a creative project they want to take on, right? So in that way, my needs are very tame. I don't want much. I I want to live the life that I'm here to live, with the momentum I came here with. Your comment about getting no appreciation. I know what time blindness is. ADHD is fully able to never ever talk about, only to define and not the person. You've evolved so much since our pen. Thank you, Kira Burr. I have changed. I am not the same person that I was when I started. This is true. And the person that I was 5 years before that was even worse. I'm trying to become a better person every single day, right? And I do believe that as I remind myself love is true, and as I show up for that truth, it's impossible for me to not become a better person. But I'm trying. I'm evolving with you, dear Kira Burb. Time for some bossy coffee. That sounds nice. Melt, you cannot imagine it being fun. No, I can. Again, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I haven't made that much money in my life. I've made a total of, this is like 20, at most $30,000, all right? My entire life, at most $30,000, all right? So that is the way I see it, right? I do enjoy working at things that I enjoy working at, right? And it's fun to get paid for my work. However, because of the amount of time I've spent almost now a decade of my life earning like $30,000, because that's the earning potential we have here in Africa, right? Like, there's a lot less money to go around. So I've spent a decade of my life gathering $30,000, right? And I don't have, because again, money gets spent. I don't have that money right now. But if I had that money, right, like with $30,000, you can maybe buy yourself a car. Maybe not even a new car. You can buy yourself some nice-ish second-hand car. Nice-ish, right? It's not going to be the best, but it's going to be nice. Uh, and then literally all of the money I've gathered is gone, right? And that doesn't sound very fun to me. Now if you imagine like a yacht, right, that is like literally 200 orders of, maybe not 200, 20, let's say 20 orders of magnitude, right? Instead of it being $30,000, now it's $300 million, all right? And that doesn't sound fun to me, right? It doesn't sound fun to me to have to do all of the things that I have to do in order to earn that kind of money. And then it especially doesn't sound fun to me to have to spend that kind of money in order to acquire that thing. And then especially because I understand this part of it as well, it doesn't sound fun to me to spend $1 million a year just for upkeep, just so that this thing that I've spent $300 million on doesn't disintegrate into worthlessness, right? None of that sounds fun to me. However, however, having a small little vehicle, right? Like everything I want can basically be acquired for around $100,000, maybe even less, right? And again, in that way, it'll take me about, if I kept earning at the same ratio I'm earning right now, it'll only take me another like 20 or so years, right? And then I'll be in my 40s, and that's fine, right? If I'm in my 40s and then I have my van and I can go and see the world, that's fine. That sounds like a good timeline to me. Ideally, I'd be able to get there before I'm in my 40s, but I'm willing to keep pushing at it, even if it takes that long. You're not imagining it being fun. Why are you lying about imagining it being fun? You just said you're avoiding all this. Again, bro, like it's like because of my imagining, right? I'm not just imagining the being on yacht, drinking cocktail, right? That is like the microcosm. You have to like all of this other stuff that's not fun in order to have this thing that you think is fun, right? And that doesn't sound fun to me. I tune into the 44th minute of stream. Whoa. Woos indeeds. Hey, meow. It's nice having you. Melita. Talking about people that have evolved, Kira Burb. I hope you do remember Melita. Melmon. She used to be called Melita. I don't know if you had another username during the RPAN days, Mel. But Melita has also consciously evolved. She's taken up like an artistic approach. I imagine her like a water wizard. Huh? Hi, Melita. Water wizard? You like that? She's been doing like performative art, and it's awesome to see. Sending her blessings too. It's nice having you here, Melita. Bless you. If I fall asleep, I thank you for helping defeat my usual panic. Love is the truest of true. I am mermaid. That's nice. Water wizard is technically, I think wizards have to be men, right? Wizardina? Water wizardina? Mermaid is nice. I like mermaid too. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Become mermaid. Have you done the actual mermaidy stuff? I don't know if you know this, Melita. Uh, this is like a weird little tidbit of experience that I've had. When I was just out of high school, uh, there was this relationship that I was in whose mom had a friend who was doing that as a business. She was, she had like a bunch of dolphin tails and she had a bunch of dolphin students. And then they would go in, not dolphins, mermaids, excuse me, sorry. And then they would go in mermaid and swimming pools together. And I was invited to one of these things, not to be mermaid myself. They were just going to be mermaiding. And then I was sitting on the sidelines. And then I was witnessing women being mermaids or pretending to be. And it was very stark. Again, it was one of those things where the world that I'm from is so far separated from that kind of stuff. Mermaiding. Mermaider, mermaid. Yeah. Yeah. Took me aback a little bit. They did like it. The thing that I remember specifically back from those times is just how expensive they were. Right? That's the thing that I remember being like especially shocked by. And because I was especially shocked by that, I was stuck, kind of like thinking about that, where I was like watching these women swimming with their mermaid tails, and I couldn't shake the idea slash understanding that that mermaid tail is like 500 US dollars. I think one of the cheap ones was 500 US dollars. And again, right, at that point in my life, 500 US dollars uh, still to at this point in my life, it's still a lot of money. Like holy shit, 500 US dollars for a tail. I didn't wear a tail, but I often use a silk fabric for flowing. It's true. Hey Melty, how are you? I mean Melt. It's okay. You can call me Melty too. I'm doing good. I'm feeling pretty nice. Present for the most part. I feel a little bit like sluggish and tired and limited in my energy expenditure. But I've still been exercising. Where is the Jack Russell? I can't see him. Not close to me at the very least right now. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. During yoga today, I was sharing this conversation about silence, and we were technically supposed to talk about silence, right? Like that quietness that you can find inside yourself as something that's good. So during the yoga, I was trying to bring my students into that state as well. And I got into that state. I got into that state so much that when I opened my eyes, it felt like I was underwater. Like everything was kind of blurry and like, and I was like, oh, why is this happening? Talking about silence sounds like a cute paradox, isn't it? Because I was trying to bring that into the yoga as well. And usually I'm pretty verbose. I keep talking and talking and talking. And because I wanted to bring silence into the space, I just gave my cues and then just gave light directions, for us to tune into the quiet. I see Nancy. It's nice having you here. One shot of vodka can make your mood right. Vodka is disgusting. Vodka is really gross. Like, I've never like vodka and was like, that's great. No, no. But it is true what you say. Vodka can influence your psychology. I think I read a post on Reddit recently, where someone was talking about biology or consciousness and the experience thereof, where they were going something like, if you're in a bad mood, sad right now, take 2 shots of vodka, wait 20 minutes, and notice how you're feeling better. And he was saying that from this perspective of like, yeah, how you're feeling is just what's chemically happening inside of you. And even though I do in part believe that, I also do believe that you are like a scientist, like a lab, and you are making actively the chemicals that are inside of you. And depending on what you drink, and depending on what you eat, and depending on how you sleep, depending on whether or not you exercise or do yoga or not, depending on the air you breathe, depending on the company you spend time with, you'll get different neurochemicals in your brains. And some of them will feel better and some of them will feel worse. As long as we were technically, yes, talking about silence. One can't experience silence while talking about. Have you thought about the fact that there is a silence between every single word that I say? Technically. So you can talk about silence and experience it as well. Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. It's true, it starts with a whisper. Thank you so much for being here, Nan. Bless you too, Dream Tooth. You just pissed off Putin. He's coming for you. Bro, Putin wasn't the KGB, so he might be better trained than me. But I do have that young man body on him, bro. I do have that young man body. I don't want to say stuff like I will be able to win a fight, a one-on-one fight with Putin. I feel like that could put me in like the crosshairs. Not really. I don't think I have enough political sway in order to garner the attention of the KGB. Thank goodness. But it is a thing, right? I'll keep talking schmack about vodka. You too, Dream too. Technically, melts beliefs, or exact scientific. It's funny how that happens. Technically, melts belief, or exactly scientific. It's funny how that happens. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. I think it's one of those things where I've noticed, right? If I apply the science, if I if I read, right? Oh, most human beings are magnesium deficient because the foods we eat do not contain the adequate amount of magnesium. And when people supplement with magnesium, they see increased quality of life more often than not. And then I apply that science to my life, and then wouldn't you know it, I feel better for it too. Same thing for yoga. Same thing for meditation. Same thing for psychedelics, technically as well, right? Like the science is getting more and more clear about what it is we're supposed to be doing, right? What the right way is to be doing things. And I like doing things the right way, especially if it serves me, right? And I'm saying that like it's an egotistical thing, but really think about what it is I'm saying, right? If I read in a study that this food group is actually really bad for you and is actively causing you to get like an increased chance of cancer, and I continue to do that, right? Like I'll literally be so loud internally every single time I eat that food that I'll ruin the experience for myself, right? I will either make the decision consciously to apply that wisdom, or the wisdom will beat me into a pulp until I accept, all right, that that is the way it's supposed to be. Not perfectly predictable. Good. Okay, good. Bye. Bye, Melt. Have a nice time. Thank you, Moon Knight. You too. That's why I'm here. The chaos rises. That it does. We're getting onto our 1 hour mark. So it's time for us to say goodbyes. But not before we see some flowers and read some poetry. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. I opened this. Mm. I need new shirts. I do need new shirts. I am aware of my limited color palette. I'll get new shirts at some point. Oh, here's today's piece. Mwomp. That's way cool. Aw, thank you, Nancy. I really do love making them for you, friends. Getting to share pretty things that make your brain process information. Your brain has to process when looking at this stuff, right? And there's so much in our brains to process at all times that the way you process these things might be different to every single one of you. I found that it is. Every single person looks at these flowers and processes it differently, right? More often than not, people process it by trying to find creatures in my work. I usually process by finding satisfactory patterns and shapes, right? For mine, like when I process this piece, that right there is one of the first things that I process, where I'm like, oh, yeah, like, and then it goes and it goes, yeah, and then I'm like, oh, and then a and then a, yeah, yes, 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 of course, and then a ooh, and then it goes like a e, and then it goes like ew, yeah, oh, and then of course it looks like a. That's the way my brain processes these things. Like, yeah, yes, 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 I get it. I understand what you're saying, Fumi Flower. I understand. I understand. But I don't understand so much. Okay. You ready for a poetries? For making some poetries? I know I am. It goes something like this. Yesterday was post 1414, just on the Patreon alone, on being a good person. Are you a good person? Are you a good person? Let's see if this poetry is going to set us at ease. People talk about good like it's this grand cathedral built of noble deeds and shining virtues. But honestly, good is also remembering to drink water, to lie down when your body whispers, to keep existing, even when existing feels like holding up the sky with a bent spoon. A good person isn't perfect. A good person tries, gets up when the alarm sounds like a chainsaw, burns the toast, still eats it. Because wasting food feels worse than charcoal flavored breakfast. I don't know if Jovan is here right now, but that's a moment that Jovan had recently where she like horribly burnt toast to the point of like shock. And like just to honor her a little bit. A good person laughs at their own bad jokes, cries when the tears come, and keeps going anyway. And here's the secret joke of it all. If you're still here, still breathing, still personing, you're already passing the test. Existing is absurdly difficult. And you showed up, and that showing up is good. So cheers to brushing teeth at midnight, to sighing in traffic, to stumbling through another day. Silly, flawed, miraculously human. You are a good person. Not because you did everything right, but because you're still doing this wild, wobbly dance called being alive. I appreciate you, friends, for being alive here with me. Butter is better than burnt toast. It's true. I am one of those kinds of people that will literally eat butter with a spoon. I am doing ketosis right now, so it's okay for me to, but it's true. Butter is better for you than toast. What's good? Do jokes pose as tests in your world? No, this test, as it was talked about, is the fact that you're not good or bad, right? Again, good or bad can be an evaluation. And evaluations usually come as a type of test, right? Like I test you against my own biases and then I evaluate, right? And instead of thinking about it like, oh, am I a good person? Am I a good personing hard enough? It's like if you're personing at all, you've already passed the test, all right? That's the joke. Like that's the joke. It's you're not you're not supposed to be doing anything other than what you're doing already, right? You're already a good person. Having overload is a hard thing. Can be. Information processing. Remind yourself to take deep breaths. Release them with a sigh of relief. And the joke, Mel doesn't have time for that. Nope. Ain't got no time for the cosmic giggles if they're laughing at me. I have to laugh with the cosmic giggles, right? Then I have all the time in the world. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. It's always a pleasure having you here. I'll see you again soon. Tomorrow. Okay? Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, friends. I love you.